Hi, I'm Vinny from Hacks for Data Analysis, and this is the hack of the week. In this video, I'll show you a trick that will help you renaming columns in Power BI. And we're going to do that using Excel. This can be very helpful if you need to automate how you rename the columns in the queries, or maybe if you just have too many columns to rename and you don't want to do that manually. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new videos every. So here we have our data set, and what we would normally do to rename the columns would be just to double click in the columns and renaming, for example, from digits to user ID, then from total, the same thing, sales amount, and so on. But again, maybe you have 100 columns that you need to rename, and this is not very practical way of doing this. So I'll just remove this last step that I did, and I'll show you the trick. I created a new Excel file. I called it columns name, where I have only two columns. One is called old column, and the other one is called new column. And this file will help us renaming the columns from our data set. So in the old column, you list the name of the columns which you want to rename, and under the new column goes the new name of those columns. So I want to rename from digits to salesperson ID and from total to sales amount. Now what I have to do is to load this file to Power BI. So inside the query editor, I go to New Source, Excel, and I'll choose the file columns name. The first thing I'm going to do here is just to make sure that old column, new column stays in the header. So I'll just use first row as headers. And now from this query, I'll create two new lists. And to do that, I'll just have to right click in each header and add as new query. So now I just created a list with the old header, and I'll do the same thing for the new one. So I'll go to the columns query, and under the new column, I'll right click, add as new query. Now we're not gonna need the query anymore for columns, so if you want to, you can delete that. A quick way of doing this is, let's just rename any of the columns here. It doesn't really matter what we are typing. So I'll just write anything. And I do that just to make sure that I add a new apply step called rename columns. Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use this formula, which is on the screen. You can also download this formula from the description of this video, or you can just type it. And we're gonna copy this formula. And here, and we're gonna replace this step here. So I can just delete it, and I'll paste that formula that I just showed to you. You can press enter, and done. All the headers will be replaced just like in the Excel file. If you're writing the formula on your own, you just need to make sure that the name of the lists are reflected in these formula. So here where you see old column and new column, it's just a replacement of lists. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments if you liked it, and I'll see you next week. Bye.